I am going to do something that most business owners would never do. Open up one of my own companies, share the real numbers, the real pain points, and let you watch the entire system get built from scratch. On camera. My name is Lior Isaac. I am a serial entrepreneur, and every time I start a new company, I bring in amazing business results, my own consulting firm, to act as the business consultant. As a business owner, I know my business too well. I need someone external asking me the uncomfortable questions because those are exactly the ones that trigger the best results. The company we're building this for is the Cyprus Advantage, my own company helping individuals and businesses relocate and invest in Cyprus. It's been 1 year and now we are ready to build the system. Just so you understand, this is a real company with real problems that are holding this business back, and I want to be honest about them. We are getting more leads than we can handle, but most of them are not qualified, and we are wasting insane amount of time finding out who is qualified and who is not. The ones that are qualified takes around 85 hours in average per file to process. Most of it is going to manual administration, endless back and forth with the clients, and chasing documents. From everything I've learned, a business can only grow if it has solid processes that the entire team can follow. The logic belongs in the system, not in people's heads. We call this the Playbook, implemented directly inside the Zoho CRM blueprint or kiosk. We'll see which tools the team is going to allocate to it. This is a 4-episode series, and this is episode number 1. A full architecture usually takes around 6 to 10 hours, but obviously in this video we trimmed it down so you can get the most important decisions and insights without waiting 10 hours. In the first episode, I am going to lay out the pain points and we'll see what the ABR team comes up with. Let's see what happens.
So Lior, we've talked to you a little bit about your company, and we think we probably have a pretty good understanding about it, but sort of to set the table for a session like this, if you don't mind, could you just once again describe your company kind of top to bottom, the purpose, the type of customers you have, just to ground us again for this leads conversation?
So first of all, the company name is the Cyprus Advantage. I started the company back in 2025 when I was in the process of doing migration to Cyprus, and I saw that there are lots of good vendors out there, so nothing wrong on the professional side, but the problem was that I had to skip between different professionals in order to get my needs. As an example, if I need to incorporate a company, open a bank account, which in North America, opening a bank account is simple. In Europe, it's a little bit more difficult. Cyprus is more difficult. So my kids supposed to be in school. I need to find for school. You call it, schools, and they are fully booked. It's just everything takes more time, and I felt that I need to have one place that I can say, I want to migrate to Cyprus. I need help with my family immigration. I need to open a business. My son needs to go to play tennis, so find me something. It needs also school. My daughter likes yoga, and eventually I will have a place that I can load all my needs and they can take care of me. And I couldn't find a place like that.
It sounds a little bit like it might be greenfield territory. There might not be a lot of competition. If there are other companies doing the same kind of thing, is there anything that you would do that would differentiate you from those companies?
Yes, so there are multiple things. So first of all, the money, which that's what's important, the money is in real estate. Now, the assumption is that when people are going to do immigration process, they need to live somewhere. And as part of the rules in Cyprus, when you do something that's called the fast track, people will buy a property for 300,000 euros, they will get a fast track visa. So they can become residents relatively fast. If we are going to sell them those properties, which behind the scene of all this immigration thing, it's a real estate company. If we are going to sell them properties, we can get the commission, and part of the commission is going to be allocated to the services I just mentioned. For example, if I have an employee that needs to look for a school for Carol and needs to find a helper with where to buy groceries or how to buy a car and things that are completely not related, I need to sponsor those salaries. And those salaries will come from real estate that they are going to buy.
So if you're bringing in the lead and you're doing sort of the deal conversion, it's really kind of about account control, that you've got the relationship built, and that's how you're able to provide the services to your customer, but also do that connection up on the back end. So Carol, maybe we can start identifying some of these different lead sources that Lior uses to bring in his customers and talk about lead treatment.
Before that, I just prepared a few slides that hopefully it will make sense about what I'm trying to do.
That's great. Let's have a look.
So currently, the company is doing a year. I'm trying to go with the same manpower. Now, it's not wishful thinking, right? So there is a plan behind this madness. So this is what's happening now. We are handling right now 50 clients a year, and that's about 70 files. A file will be, let's say that I will be a candidate for probably 3 files. One will be finding a property, the other one is family immigration, and the third one will be establishing companies. So I will be a candidate for 3 files. So we handle 50 clients, and there will be 70 processes for each one of those 50 clients. In average, we are spending 85 hours per file. Some of them will be less and some more, but the average, I personally don't like averages, because if I sit in a room with 8 pregnant women, I'm also, the average is that I am 1 month in pregnancy. So I'm not sure I like average, but that's the average. Most of the time is going to administration. As an example, when, for example, I have a customer and I need to retrieve from them files and the passports and the medical records and the background check and so on, I need to have those communications with the customers. Sometimes we will miss something. We send to the government. We need to go back to the customer, retrieve it again. Tons of time is going through back and forth communication with the client. Hassle for the client, hassle for us, losing lots of time and money. So overall, the expectation is that we're losing lots of time on inefficiencies. The first goal will be, with the same manpower, which we are 7 employees right now, to get to and just by removing most of the manual work that you guys will help me during this process, obviously, but just the first phase will be tripling the company, because we have endless leads coming in. Everybody wants to migrate to Cyprus. It's a booming country. Everywhere you can see cranes, no unemployment. It's a booming place. Everybody wants to be here right now. So getting the business, it's easy. Working on the files more difficult. And then when we are fully optimized with the same manpower, we can go. And you know me, I'm not hallucinating. Those numbers are real numbers.
Your company is unique, and you have a unique offering but you are the same as most customers in that if you automate your processes, if you put in the right system support, it enables growth without a big investment and but without having to spend a lot more money. So while you're special and you're unique, you're also very similar to a lot of customers. So given our
Right.
experience, we for sure can help you get there.
And for people that I know that this is going to be online, this session, for people that don't understand usually how it works, you can't do what we're doing now on a new business that never worked. You need to have at least 1 year of business, which that's where we are, before you can start setting automations, because in the beginning it's ups and downs, lots of changes, lots of unknowns, and you can't really create a process on an unknown. So we waited a year, and now after a year of business, we are creating this process. So this is really where I want to go with it. Saving the time that is going on things that I know for sure that can be automated, and then to be fully optimized.
You've got a good plan, you've got good growth strategy. Our job is to help you get there.
Okay, so we're going to start designing the system then. We're going to do a few things here. So we're going to start with how the leads are coming into the CRM. So that's going to be our lead sources. Then we'll talk about assignment and notifications, and then we'll get into the step-by-step process and the transitions, which will be the actual buttons that are on the playbook.
And thank you, Carol, for creating this Lucy chart in advance. It will save lots of time. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So based on our initial conversation, I did go ahead and set up some lead sources. So let's kind of dig into that. We have social ads, Google ads, we have phone call, company website, emails, referrals, Facebook, WhatsApp, and trade shows. So number one, let's talk about the phone calls. Do you already have a phone system that's integrating with Zoho?
Not with Zoho. We have a phone system that is integrated with GUI level, that we use GUI level only for incoming. It's not, some people use it as a CRM. GUI level is not a CRM. It's just a way for us to receive phone calls, receive WhatsApp, and so on.
Perfect.
In terms of answering the phone, do you have a live person answering the phone, or are you using any kind of AI receptionist?
So we do have an AI receptionist, but it's far from being optimal. So right now it's just, she taking messages and having very basic qualification, but it's far from what it needs to be.
All right, we've got a lot of experience in the area. In a future session, when you've got some time, we'll meet with you and explain some of the different options, because we can probably help you raise the bar on that as well.
100%.
So is there anything you want to change here about the lead sources? Anything that we're missing that you want to add in?
Yes, so a few things. One, the nature of this business is that we're getting insane amount of traffic to WhatsApp. So on our website, there is a WhatsApp. People will go there and will start chatting with us. The majority are not qualified. As an example, the fast track will be about probably 80%, 70% of the traffic to this island. And in order to do that, you need to have 300,000 for a house, and you need to have immigration process expenses and travel, and to live here for a few months. So you need to have a few 100,000 euros available for this migration, and most people don't. So I don't want to be rude, but if we are looking only on the business side, they're wasting time. So, and it's difficult to tell someone, hey, Carol, thank you for reaching us. How much money do you have? This is where we're spending insane amount of time. And if we'll be able to do something here, I'm pretty sure we'll be on the right track.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would be something that's burning up your time. So what we can do is implement an AI here. So WhatsApp will actually be directed into Go High Level, and we'll add an AI component on top of that. And the AI will be trained in your business and be able to pre-qualify those leads, so that now you are only getting the most valuable leads actually coming into the CRM so that we can work on those.
Yeah, that will be great. And Eli can be a good resource to work with from your side.
Yeah.
Eli knows our business pretty good, and is also very experienced on the AI side. So if you guys can work with him on that, it will be magical.
Yeah, we absolutely can do that.
So a lot of our lead sources come from referrals, as you mentioned in there, but we have different types of referrals. Is there a way to specify which branches they come from, if it's individuals or government or firms?
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. So we can ask the type, and then we can have a lookup field that will tag either that account or that contact connected to that lead so that you can have proper reporting on it. And then let's talk about your website for a second. So do you have a form on your website already that's going into the CRM, or is that something we need to do?
Yes, we have an existing form. The form goes to the CRM. What I would like to do there, lots of traffic is, as I said before, it's not qualified leads. I would need some kind of a solution also for that. So when leads are coming in, there will be some back and forth that the system can qualify them.
We could use like a chatbot on the website so that they can do that qualification, that conversation over chat on the website. We could also build out a form that has a couple of qualifying questions on it that they complete prior to it flowing into the system.
Just 1 second, David. It's actually Gaia. Just write yourself. Maybe the WhatsApp is not the best way to be on the website. Maybe we can do a chatbot. It costs nothing. It's just the AI transactions cost, which is nothing. And the WhatsApp is more expensive. So maybe we can save the WhatsApp to real communications and the chatbot on the website to qualify. Thank you, David.
Quite a few of our customers, when we're looking at leads, speed is very important. They have to be able to get there within a few minutes. Some other customers, it's not as big a deal. If you're selling an HVAC system to a hospital, your sales cycle is a few months. You don't have to get back to the lead within the first few minutes. But quite a few of our customers, the difference between half an hour and a 5-minute response is the difference between making the deal and not making the deal. How critical is the timing for you on your leads?
Currently, where I am in the business, it's irrelevant. But when I will need to go to 3 and 7 million, absolutely, because then there will be competition. Right now, we're maxed up anyway.
And adding to that, because we work with so many people globally, we might not always be in the same time zone. So a 9 a.m. for one person is not always a 9 a.m. for another person. So having that speed is so important because we could be missing out on that timing.
To get to them before the end of their day to respond rapidly. So it might not be 5 minutes, but it certainly shouldn't be 5 hours because then you age off for the day. Got it.
So question for you. So when a form is being submitted, lead is accepted in the CRM, what can you do in that case that people will get contacted even if they're in a different time zone?
So based on the different pipelines that the leads come into, based on, if we want to treat them differently based on referral source and those kinds of things, we can then use a few different ways to alert people that there's a new lead in there. So we can do it natively right in Zoho with a click message. So if someone's sitting in front of their computer, they get a click message that a new lead has appeared and they can go work it. If you've got somebody that's maybe not always in front of the computer, but they're on the move, we can send them an SMS to their phone to say a new lead has come in. And essentially we will rate the leads by priority when they come in. And you can decide, okay, I only want to alert on priority 10 leads. The priority 3 leads, I don't need to alert. I get to them and work that later. And how we set that priority, that'll be a conversation we'll have on what are the criteria that make a really high priority lead versus a lower priority lead. And that's how we would treat them and do the alerting.
So that's more for alerting the sales team. Another thing we can do is automate the lead system entirely. So once the lead comes into the system, we can have that AI actually call out to the lead immediately. So they're getting a contact as soon as they submit their at the form on the website or however they come in, and then that AI can pre-qualify them and even book them with a salesperson so that they're booked for the soonest available appointment.
So the AI will do the qualification, and only the ones that are candidates basically will pass through to a human.
Exactly, yes.
Awesome. Yeah, that's also will save me tons of time.
So I noticed that you have social ads and Google ads, so I'm sure you're pouring money into that. Do you have any?
Not yet, but I will. It's part of the plan because I need to grow. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So an important part of that is knowing exactly what's going on with those ads. So typically when you're working with a marketing company, they're going to tell you, oh, I gave you X amount of leads, and that's what they're going to be looking at. But what we need to look at is, are they giving us qualified leads? Are they good leads? Or are we just burning through money and burning through phone calls, right? So we actually have a system to track that, where we can connect your advertisements into the CRM. It'll let us know if a lead comes in from that advertisement. And then it'll let us know if that lead is converted, how much money we made off of them. So at the end of the day, we have our ROI based on each campaign, and we know exactly where our money is going. So let's go into what's going to happen once that lead actually comes into the CRM. So the AI is going to pre-qualify them, and then it's going to get assigned to someone. So are we assigning these leads based on any type of criteria? So the location of the lead, what exactly it is they're needing, or maybe...
Yes, so we have 3 different services.
Okay.
And the future AI solution, and also the form on the website will need to ask what they need from us, and they can be 3 things. One, it's to open a cooperation in Cyprus.
Okay.
The other one will be immigration services, and that's usually for individuals. And the 4th one is properties, which usually it will be buying or investing.
Okay.
And based on that, it will be assigned to different individuals. We have on the business side people that are more on the business side. We have on the properties real estate agents, and we have on the immigration people that are more on the admin side.
Okay. And then, as David was talking about earlier, we can also send a notification to the lead owner. So do you want them to get like a pop-up and click inside of the CRM or anything like that?
No notification. We have the follow-up system.
Right.
And the follow-up system is on the screen being updated automatically based on everything. So yeah, instead of all those, I personally feel that all the notifications, it's just distracting people from the work, all the ping schmings and all those. They can look at the screen and they will see the work.
Okay, great. And since we're using the AI, I'm assuming we don't necessarily need a lead notification, right? Because they're already getting a phone call, or do you still want them to get a text message or an email when they submit their form?
Only when actually, it's a good point. Can we do that when the AI calls, and if there is no answer, only then it will send an email like welcome or thank you, we'll get back to you, or we try to call you, something like that?
Absolutely. And so there's a few things we're going to be able to skip. So for example, the SLA, we don't really need an SLA because the AI is going to make that first contact, right? And then the salespeople will just have the appointment pop up on their calendar. Or do you still feel a need for that?
So I will tell you what I'm afraid of. So let's say that a prospect talked to the AI, and the AI moved the lead from cold to qualified. I'm afraid that at that point, the agent will be too busy to work with them, and the qualified leads are gold, right? Because they have the money, they have the need. It's a great thing for us. So I think that usually, when the SLA, so lead comes in, if there is no one is contacting them, then something will happen. In that case, I think that when they are called, nothing will happen, no SLA. but when they are qualified, only then the SLA will kick in. So we won't lose them.
Okay.
And I will do it, we are very, very responsive. I will do it even 30 minutes.
Do you want it to be a reminder to the salesperson, or do you want it to be an escalation to a
Just
manager?
move to the next one.
Okay.
And when the lead is being qualified, it's being assigned to Gaia. If Gaia is not working on the lead, then it will go, let's say, to Carol.
Okay.
When it's doing this shift, I do want to have some kind of a log to know all the occasions that salespeople were not able to deal with the lead on time, and when it was jumped to a different agent, just to see that there is no repetition. So, I need to take care of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
And as the salesperson will be able to re-listen to the AI conversation. So once I have that initial meeting, I know exactly what they're looking for, or will I get notes from the AI?
So there will actually be notes in the CRM recapping the whole conversation.
Okay, great.
But you always do have the option to listen to the call as well.
So let's say the AI is communicating. Do you have a way to see the conversation and interrupt when the AI is not doing what you want it to do?
So if it's during the chatbot, and depending on the platform that you're using, you can see the live conversation with the AI. You can suspend that conversation and then take over and just say, hey, I saw that you're talking to our AI. I am so-and-so. And then you can hijack that conversation and take it over. So occasionally the AI kind of spirals if it gets stuck and can't answer that question. So if you are monitoring and want to take over, it can be easily done. I do that sometimes with our chatbot.
So Gaia, instead of 3 people working on chatbots, on live conversations, maybe we can have one individual monitoring multiple chatbots at the same time. I think it's much easier, right?
And we can get notifications when someone starts a chat with the chatbot. Okay.
Yeah, you do. And you can get notifications on your desktop or on your mobile device as well if you want. I get it on my mobile phone, so if I'm not at my desk and I see it and I monitor the chat, and if the chat's going well, then I leave it be. But if it's not going well, then I disengage the AI and I take over.
In the back of my head, it's
Yeah.
People always asking about AI and they want it to be perfect. But I'm trying to think like AI you use AI or humans. How good humans if you're comparing it to an AI? Because humans are not in the 100%, obviously.
So there's a really good answer to that, because there's a spectrum on the people. You'll get people that are great, and you'll get people that aren't as good, and you'll get people that are great but are having a bad day or having a good day. The thing about AI is it's 100% consistent. It's always having a good day. It's always polite. It never gets aggravated. It never loses its temper. It never gets frustrated. So it's got that calmness to it, which is a great balance against it. But there are still some times where a person is better, which is why your suggestion of having the AI handle that interaction, but have a person sort of supervising the AI and jumping in where necessary, that I think is probably a really good mix, because you get great level of consistency. You never have anybody miss a day, call in sick, be in a bad mood or anything like that with the AI. But sometimes you need that human brain as well. So I think that balance will work really well.
So now we're going to move into the step-by-step. So I do understand that we're going to have an AI, and the ultimate goal here is for the AI to contact the person, pre-qualify, and maybe even schedule a meeting with the salesperson. But there will be situations where that person's not answering the phone, and we need someone like Gaia to jump in and actually try to call them, right? So in that case, we're going to set up a system here that is going to remind us when it's time to call them again if they're not answering the phone, or it's going to guide us through what to do if we are contacting them. So I'll just do a brief overview of the stages that I have mapped out here and let you know kind of what everything means.
And the stages will be buttons, right? So my salespeople don't need to think too much. They just click on the buttons and the logic that you are talking about will be implemented in the background.
Yep. And we can even
Okay.
make the buttons colorful if you want. This is not to be confused with lost leads. So this is if a bot, spam, solicitors come in through the website form, something like that, and it's not pertaining to you or your business. So we don't want them in the same bucket as a lost lead, because when we do reporting, we don't want it to look like we're losing all of these leads when in reality they weren't a real lead. So we're gonna have that as an option. And we
Question
also
for
have,
you. When the AI will, so the lead comes in and it will be as with no status, right? Because the AI is trying to communicate with them.
right.
If the AI determines that this is garbage, they're trying to sell me SEO or whatever it is, can the AI push it automatically into the junk leads folder?
Of course.
Okay, perfect, beautiful.
And then we have contacted. So this means that we got a hold of the person. They're able to talk to us right now. And in that case, we're going to ask some qualification questions. Will be very similar to what the AI is asking, but we'll be able to ask them. And when we click this button, those fields will all pop up and we'll need to populate something in them to be able to move forward. So we can make them required if we want.
So when the AI is qualifying them, the information will come in, and then we can repeat the questions just to make sure that they didn't just threw like 500,000 or whatever numbers.
Right.
Just to okay, got it. That's beautiful.
Okay. We'll have follow-up required. So we do have a follow-up system, and most of the time we're automatically updating our next follow-up date and the follow-up reason. In this case, we're going to actually ask the user to input the next follow-up date, because this would be the case if someone says, hey, I'm in a meeting right now. If you could call me tomorrow at 2:00, that would be much better and I'll have time to talk with you. So they're actually giving you that next time to follow up with them. So we'll input that manually if that were to happen.
Perfect.
And then all of the contact with no response, we have 5 set up here. We can have more, we can have less, depending on your specific process. But the idea here is that we're going to get someone's voicemail. We click this button. When we click this button, it's going to automatically update that next follow-up date based on the cadence that we're going to set up right now. And then we also have the option to send an automated email or text message or both, just as a follow-up message. You know, I tried to give you a call. I'm calling from Cyprus Advantage. You can call me back on this number, something like that. We also have the option to choose every time you click it. You can send no automation, or you can send a text and email. So you can also set it up like that where you're choosing every time. So those are kind of the different options we have on this one.
Obviously, we have different types of people who are interested in different services. Can
Sure.
I create templates so I know what I'm sending to someone who is interested in one service over another, or is it general?
So yeah, we can set up different templates for different services.
If you're doing sort of an automated response where you either want to send an SMS or send an email, depending on what the situation is, you can choose from any one of those templated messages and say, okay, I want to send this type of message. Or if it's like a referral from government, you might want to send a different type of message that you have. So it's all supported in the system, all these different templates. So that's what we'll help you configure that and build those out.
Perfect. And with the AI, obviously there's different time zones. Will it tell me what the user's time zone is in, so I know when would be a good time to reach out and maybe when I shouldn't send an email if it's 2 a.m. for them, or an SMS?
So that can be a qualification question the AI can ask. If you're getting basic information about the customer and you get the where they are, then you can calculate what the time zone likely to be if you get if you've got an address on them.
Right now we have a script in the system that Jatin and the team created. It's based on the phone number. We're checking the country and the city code, and based on that, which we know the time zone. It's not perfect because sometimes people, from Texas will be in Germany and will send a request, but it's about 90%, 95%, so it's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah,
And
you've got people that move away and keep their cell phone and they want to keep the number. And so you've got someone living in San Francisco with a Connecticut phone number and they've got a 3 hour time difference in the time zone they're actually in versus the one where their phone number is associated with it. So you will have that 10% variance.
with the no response, Gaia, let me know if you're okay with it. I would say that it will be based on what you said, based on the service, and also it will be automatic. So I don't want salespeople to click on anything. I want the system to have the logic in place and everything will be done automatically. You okay with it?
Perfect.
And how many attempts did you plan for us, Carol? Because obviously most people don't answer the first time, and we need to follow multiple times.
So I planned for 5.
I prefer to have 3 attempts by a human and another 12 attempts by a machine.
Okay.
So human will only try 3 times, and after the 3rd time, the human will not see it anymore, but the system will try to follow your logic, so plus 5 days or 3 days for the next, let's say, 12 weeks.
Okay.
Unless the person say, don't call me anymore, or awesome, let's book an appointment.
Right.
David, do you think that that's 12 attempts will be okay automatically, or it's too much? What do you think?
I think when people are looking to do what your customers are looking to do, they're pretty serious about this. And I don't think they're going to be frustrated with you trying to reach them that many times. I think probably you're maxed out at maybe 12. We do have one customer that does like 90 different attempts, which we think is very, very extreme, and quite a few customers that are 5. But I think anywhere between that 5 to 12 range, I think that's reasonable. For serious people, I think it's okay.
And the AI can do phone call, and if they don't answer, they'll send an automated email for attempt 11 versus attempt 7.
Yes.
That's great, actually, if we can follow up with an email after the call. And in the email, can we have also a link that if people, getting an email, we tried to call you, there was no answer, click here to book an appointment?
Yeah, you can have that in the footer of all those templates that we talked about.
Okay, so what we're going to do is you'll be able to click lost lead at any point in the process, because of course they can tell you to stop calling, maybe they're not qualified, whatever the reason is. However, if we get to the 12th phone call and they're still not answering, it's going to automatically go to lost lead with the lost lead reason unresponsive. And so we have some reasons here why people typically lose leads. So we can always edit this as well if you want to add or remove anything here. Now,
so if the AI is calling them for 12th time, no answer, then it will be lost lead and the reason will be unresponsive. That's what I see there?
Yes.
Beautiful. And if a human will click, then the human can select the lost reason to be price, availability, beautiful. Exactly. I will give you a different list of reasons probably tomorrow, but that's great.
Okay. Now, a common question we get is what happens if they're lost lead and then in 2 months they call again, they re-engage with us? So we don't want duplicates in the system, and we want all of the historical data that we had on that original record. So what we're going to do is have this stage called resurrected. So when they come back into the system, instead of creating a duplicate record, it'll just change the status to resurrected, and it's going to loop us back around to the beginning of the process, and then we'll start all over again trying to engage with them.
And in that case, when it's resurrected, a human will see it or the AI will see it?
What's your preference?
For me, it's a human probably, because if we are calling them manually, it means that those are being qualified. Or maybe you can have in the system when a lead is being qualified, there will be some kind of a flag in the system, like a check mark or something like that. Sure. And in that case, the resurrected will go to a human, and when they are not qualified, then it will go to the AI.
Yeah, we can do that.
And I have another question. Currently, same lead can submit multiple leads. and some of them been lost leads, and then they will file again another lead, and then we are working on them. And sometimes you will have 3 salespeople working on the same person because they sent multiple leads. I just want to know if you have a solution for that.
We can merge duplicates based on the email, the phone number, or the mobile. And we can do it with all 3. So if any of those 3 criteria match, then we'll merge those records together so you don't have multiple leads in the system like that.
And what about if the lead, let's say, is lost lead and then a new lead came in? What will happen in that case?
It's going to merge it with the original record, and it's going to change the status to resurrected, and we'll start it
Beautiful.
again.
Beautiful. Okay. So I think from the lead point of view, I think I'm set. What about you, Gaia? Do you feel comfortable that will take us to the Holy Land?
I think as long as we're up to date with the only thing that is new is the AI. So as long as we can still have like a manual, coming in and seeing it and making sure that we're getting where we can see the information. And David, you said we can actually hear it and see it in the notes. So that's great.
Yeah.
I think it's a good solution.
I know where David lives. Don't worry. If it doesn't work, we have a short trip with a canteen of oil. Don't worry.
It can be tracked down.
Okay. So next session, we are going to work on the deal side. That's the idea?
Yep.
That is the idea. That's what that will flow next.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Great session. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks,
guys.
Thank you.
So that was episode 104. We walked through the business, the growth plan, and the pain points, unqualified leads burning through the team's time, manual processes slowing everything down, and the system that simply can't support the growth we're targeting. And we also started designing the solution, the lead side of the playbook, built to let the system do the heavy lifting while the team can focus on closing those leads. In episode number 2, we continue the architecture session and move into the deal side of the system. What happens after a lead qualified and becomes a client? Subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you in episode number 2. And if you like the Amazing Business Results team to architect your CRM solution, check the link in the description below or just scan the QR code on screen. I will see you in episode number 2.